And welcome to the show, everybody. Pleased that you can be along with us. You know, the Erie Canal, it used to go from east to west through the heart of New York State, and it was a big deal. And it really opened up New York State and the United States. The big ditch. Well, there was another canal that doesn't get all the publicity that the Erie Canal got, and that's the Black River Canal. It ran north and south, and it's starting to get some more publicity. It was called The Little Ditch. In fact, that's the name of a new DVD that it's out, Little Ditch, the Black River Canal. We have the producers of the DVD with us, and that is Matthew White and R.D. White. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
You know, let me start with you, Matt, father, son. The Erie Canal has always gotten the publicity. Of course, it was a bigger canal. But in recent days, it seems like the Black River Canal is getting some publicity. We've got a recent book out on it. We've got the Black River Canal Museum that's moving along quite nicely in Boonville, and now your DVD. What do you think is the cause of this interest in the Black River Canal, Matt?
Well, I think it's a unique part of local history that not that many people might know about. They may drive along the road and see the lock walls still standing, but you know, what is the history behind those lock walls and the stones that you see? And that's really, I think, what the fascination is. It's with local history, people that think local history is interesting. And that's really what I think inspires our film and the books and the museum. That's kind of, they're all new.
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, it's a way to open up the past and really find out about how rich the history was and how the canal, the Black River Canal, really developed Oneida, Lewis, and Jefferson counties.
Yeah, and you know, R.D., unlike the Erie Canal, which you can't see much of today, you can still see an awful lot of the Black River Canal. You go up the Gorge Road, you leave Rome and go up Black River Boulevard, and you get on that Gorge Road and you go up to Boonville, and you can still see many of those old locks.
Yeah, there's probably 2/3 of the locks are still there today, and the section between Forestport with the feeder canal, Forestport to Boonville, you can still take a canoe through there.
Let's set the stage for people who aren't too familiar with the canal, Matt. Talk about when it was construction started, when it opened up, its width, its depth, some of that kind of information.
Well, it really originated after DeWitt Clinton created the Erie Canal. He was a big part of getting the Black River Canal created. He really thought canals connected New York State, would increase commerce, and eventually the canals really did make New York City the trading city port that it became.
As he predicted it would.
Yep. So in the 1830s, the canal began construction. It took 20 years to actually build. There was a portion where they actually stopped. The New State stopped. It's called the stop law. They had to catch up on state debt, so they actually stopped the construction for a little while, but then continued after that. So it took 20 years to build, and it really ran, you know, until about the early 1900s. It didn't close. New York State didn't close it, but they decided that there weren't enough boats on the canal to make it worthwhile to pay the maintenance people, the lock tenders, the staff on the canal. So what they did was they really just pulled everybody out of the positions, and the canal just kind of degraded as nature took its course.
And that was in 1920s?
1922.
Yeah. And, you know, when you go up, you mentioned, R.D., that you can go up and see all those, or many of those canals today. I sometimes go for walks along that towpath of the Black River Canal. Up, I get on up by Pixley Falls in the state park, and then just walk the towpath. The thing that surprises me is how narrow those locks were.
Yeah, I think the dimensions were like 15 feet wide by 90 feet long, and the depth of it was like 4 feet deep. Well, not the depth of the lock, but the depth of the water in the canal.
Yeah. Yeah. So those boats must have been pretty small. I mean, you always look at them, you think, geez, these are big boats, but they weren't that big, I guess.
Now, well, actually, that was the original dimensions of the Erie Canal, but they had already enlarged the Erie by the time the Black River Canal was finished.
Yeah, and was it not supposed to go farther north than it did?
The original intention was to go all the way to Ogdensburg, so they would have probably gone from Carthage up to Gouverneur on the Indian River and into Black Lake and on through the Oswegatchie into Carthage, but of course it never got that far.
And so if that would have happened, then somebody could have come up the Hudson River to the Erie Canal, gone across the Erie Canal to Rome, and then gone up the Black River Canal and gotten onto the St. Lawrence Seaway.
Exactly. Except you still would have had to deal with the rapids, the Canadian portion of the Seaway, which was in place before the actual St. Lawrence Seaway was built. I don't think parts of that were constructed yet, so that would have been a problem. But
Matt, it connected at Rome, the Black River Canal connected Rome. Where exactly in Rome did it connect?
Well, today it would be right where Fort Stanwix is, the National Historic Site. That's where it came out and intersected with the Erie Canal. Really, the problem with Rome, I don't think the Black River Canal was as big a deal in Rome because the Erie Canal had already it went through there. A lot of the industry and commerce had developed around the Erie. So really the only factory or commerce that developed in Rome, the city of Rome, along the Black River Canal was the Fort Stanwix canning factory. And so it was kind of like a sideshow in Rome, you could say, but then as it went north, and the villages, Delta, Boonville, Lyons Falls, those are really the places that it was a big deal.
Yeah, in fact, in Boonville, R.D., it was a really big deal. The Black River Canal really opened up Boonville, didn't it?
Boonville was sort of the hub of the canal because the feeder came in there from Forestport, and then it was the highest point on the canal. The water ran downhill from Boonville towards Rome, and it ran downhill to the north from Boonville to Lyons Falls. And so I think of that as the main intersection.
Yeah. In fact, that's a good segue to say where your DVD is available because of the Black River Canal Museum, which the new Black River Canal Museum is one of the spots.
Yep, yeah, you can, that's the place where the history of the canal is being remembered is they created the Black River Canal Museum in Boonville, and our DVD's available there. And
in fact, Ed Finmore is featured on your DVD, and Ed Finmore is the driving force, one of the people, the driving force behind that museum.
Yep, yeah, we featured him because he's, as far as Boonville history and a lot of the canal history, he knows a lot about the history, is kind of a historian about it. And we wanted to kind of gather all the resources, you could say, for the documentary to tie in all the areas, the people that know about the history. And we feature the museum in the documentary itself just because the documentary is kind of serving as a way to bring all this stuff together for one opportunity that people can watch and find out about all the different things that relate to the canal.
And where else is it available?
Here in Utica, it's available at the Oneida County Historical Society, and it's in, of course, once we said that already, it's in Boonville, the Black River Canal Museum. It's also in Syracuse, it's at the Erie Canal Museum.
And you can get it also off your website?
Yep, you can order it off our website, which is fourthcoastproductions.com, and you can order it online or through the mail. You can also get on Amazon.com or Target.com and order it on there also. And
it is, if I recall correctly, 90 minutes in length?
Yep, it's a 90-minute film, and the DVD has extras on it, footage that we didn't use. And
it sells for how much?
$19.95. Okay. There's also a soundtrack, that CD available too, which we had an original soundtrack produced for the film.
Right, right. When we come back, I'm going to ask you where that name Fourth Coast Productions came from, and also something big happening with this DVD come this winter or spring on WCNY. We'll talk to the Whites about that when we come back, Matt and RD. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, more about the Black River Canal. Stay with us.